National Nutrition Natural Health Reviews. 3 minutes of the latest naturopathic info with Canada's leading nutrition experts. Watch, learn, and get healthy naturally.
Hi there, Naturopathic Doctor Jonathan Beatty here, health expert at nationalnutrition.ca. Today I want to talk about lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance is an often misunderstood condition, and I find actually in my clinical practice, people that have dairy allergies or dairy sensitivities often get incorrectly diagnosed as lactose intolerance. The reason this is important is they're two very different conditions. In a lactose intolerance, it's an inability of the person to produce an enzyme called lactase, which is required to break down the sugar lactose into its two subunits, glucose and galactose. When you can't break down the lactose molecule, what happens in the intestine is it causes a massive influx of water, thus filling the bowels with excessive amounts of water, typically leading to diarrhea and a lot of excessive gas and other discomforts. Now, in a dairy allergy, it's not about that influx of water, it's about an inflammatory response, and that's where things often get misdiagnosed. Just because you don't tolerate dairy doesn't necessarily mean it's a true lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance can be tested for. Typically it is diagnosed just by symptoms, but you can go to your doctor and get tested to see if you do have a lactose intolerance. So if you do have lactose intolerance, and it's typically characterized by having some form of loose stool, diarrhea, bowel urgency, or excessive gas production, within minutes of eating a high dairy diet or a high dairy meal. Ways you can tell if you have lactose intolerance: if you have lactose intolerance, take a lactase enzyme with dairy. If you still suffer pain, it's probably actually not a lactose intolerance, it's probably a dairy sensitivity. Sometimes you can have both. So it is something to double check that just because you have a lactose intolerance doesn't mean you also don't have a dairy sensitivity in addition. The real key treatment for lactose intolerance is if you're going to consume dairy that does contain lactose, then you're typically going to want to chew an enzyme prior to that contains lactase, the enzyme that you're missing. This will allow the body to break down that lactose into its subunits and prevent you from all the horrible symptoms that you get from your lactose intolerance. So that's the simplest way to treat it. There's only one treatment out there: replace the enzyme. It's that simple. So anytime you're going to consume dairy, popping a lactase enzyme, very, very effective way to control your lactose intolerance. If that's not enough, consider the possibility that you may have a dairy sensitivity. It's not always necessarily a true allergy, but it is typically some form of immune response to the proteins found in dairy. One general quick tell for that is if you have lactose intolerance from something like yogurt, where the lactose has usually been pre-digested by the bacteria, then it's not likely a lactose intolerance. It's more likely to be a dairy sensitivity. So if you suffer from lactose intolerance, make sure to always keep a lactase enzyme handy. If you like this video, please check out more of our natural health videos on our channel, subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, post them below. And always remember, knowledge is health.